Everybody, welcome to CompareYachtCharters.com Rusty Anchor Podcast. We're here at the Secret Garden in Vell Marina, and we're interviewing these three lovely gentlemen here today, and they've had some great yacht charter experiences that we're going to talk to today. So, hi guys.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
How are you all today?
Very well, thanks.
Very well. Okay, let me get my notes out. Okay. So, what type of charters did you all go on? Did you go on a crewed, a skippered, or did you sail yourself?
I prefer skippered because I don't like sailing. I like sitting on the boat.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. What about you guys?
Well, I've always been on bareboat charters.
So you're an experienced sailor?
Reasonably average. You don't have to be a great sailor. But I've done mine around the Greek Islands. I love islands. Just going around islands. There's no tides. Things are very predictable. So you don't have to have. You don't have to have fantastic certificates. Well, you do to charter the yacht, but you don't have to be a fantastic sailor to crew a great islands.
Yeah, it's true. That is.
Don't you know how to park it though? How'd you park it?
Pardon?
How'd you park it?
No, what I do is I stand behind the wheel. I do it reversed instead of like driving a car.
And what happens if you think you're going to crash into something?
I never crash it.
So you need to be a sailor then.
Even you could do that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. All you've got to do is put the brake on. Just put it on reverse.
Okay, fair enough.
About
So didn't know that, right?
2 to 3 inches.
Okay.
Doddle.
What about you?
Bareboats only. Yeah.
Bareboats only?
Yeah.
So you have a skippered license as well?
I've got a yacht master coastal.
Oh, you've got a yacht master?
Yeah. Well, you need to have something.
Yeah.
And the RYA range is accepted all over Europe and the world. So.
But your master is like quite a high level of like.
Oh, I've been sailing since I was a teenager.
Oh
so,
wow!
Yeah, I've done a
What
lot
did
of
you
sailing.
start off on? Did you start off on Optimist?
No, I didn't actually. I went straight to yachts. If you remember them, the Westerly GK29 was a famous racing yacht of the 70s and 80s, and so I raced that. And then my first boat was a GK24, a little 24-foot yacht, and then through various yachts, spent 20 years sailing in Britain on a Beneteau Oceanis, which is mainly racing and pub cruising. And of course getting out to the Med for a bit of sun and the more relaxing side of it, rather than smashing around the cans in the Solent.
Yeah, so obviously like that is quite a lot of experience you have there with sailing. How did you find like the yacht master, like the whole course and everything? Because people don't find it that easy to do, to be honest.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The yacht club that I've been a member of for 35 years, they have a training section, and we did all of the classroom work, and then your VHF license, first aid, etc. And then we went off for a week and prepped up with a brilliant instructor, and then the examiner comes on board and
Probably fails you.
yeah.
Actually, my first experience was on a peddler, actually. Yeah, it was quite good.
Oh yeah.
A bit dramatic, though, because the guy shouted out, he said, come in, number 9, your time is up. And I said, we haven't got a number 9. He said, number 6, are you in trouble? You can edit that bit.
I just want to ask one question. If you sail at home, what's it like sailing somebody else's boat, and why would you be bothered when you're on holiday?
Good question. I found that that's why I didn't charter for so long, because during the sailing season from March to December we were most weekends, 3 out of 4 I was sailing, and then we'd spend a couple of weeks in the Solent or down the West Country, or I might be doing a boat delivery for someone. So I never really had any great desire for chartering because I was getting so much sailing in. And then the first time was a mutual friend of ours. He chartered every year, so you've got to do it. And once, and I was hooked. There's a very big difference between chartering a yacht out in the sun than sailing up and down the English Channel.
Yeah.
Big difference.
it's,
That's a very
it's
big
quite
difference.
it's quite challenging to
it's
sail
not.
in England, though, isn't it?
First time I chartered a boat was me. I didn't have much experience, and my girlfriend. We'd never sailed, just the two of us, and we just got it. It's really not that difficult. The only thing I will say is that since I did that, you do now need qualifications to charter, to bear boat charter otherwise, and you have to go to the port authority to get it stamped authorised, otherwise they won't let you take the boat here.
Yeah, that's in Greece. I don't know, is it the same in Spain? Have you chartered in Spain?
No.
You do need a skipper
would
license
imagine
to
that
charter a
they-
bare boat. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I would imagine it's the same.
But you didn't quite answer the question. Why? If it's like a busman's holiday, why do you want to go
Yeah.
and do sailing when you're on holiday? Why don't you just sit on the deck and enjoy it?
Well, it's the same thing if you're into hiking or whatever. You can go hiking in England or whatever country you're from. But sometimes it's nice to go abroad, see something different, different food, different culture, practice your language skills a bit, and the islands and the harbours and the culture in the country makes a holiday.
And
The
the
fact-
booze.
Yes,
Well,
indeed,
yeah, of course, yeah.
And the fact that you're doing it on a boat, which is something that you enjoy anyway, is extra. And you do get to see a different side of the resorts from the sea. If you're in a resort, you might have a hire car to go places, but with a boat, you can go from marina to marina, or a lot of it's just old town harbours that you can anchor off in a bay for a night. You don't have to be in a harbour every
I guess
evening.
that's what is like the good thing about, if you do have a skipper license, you can kind of go wherever you want. Whereas like you had a different experience, because at the end of the day, somebody else is sailing the boat for you. They're kind of going where they want to go.
Oh, they ask you where you want to go every day.
Do they?
They advise you.
Yeah.
To be honest, you don't have a clue, so you take their advice most of the time. But
Yeah.
for example, we wanted to get in port very first thing last thing at night, so that we could walk around and have breakfast off the boat.
Yeah.
And we just adjusted the schedule to do that. So
Yeah,
they do
I
take
think,
in port.
yeah, they definitely. Yeah, I get what you mean there. They will like cater to your needs at the end of the day. If you want to go somewhere, then they'll go somewhere for you.
I think the best thing about their boat charter is that it's just that sense of freedom. You can go where you want, whenever you want. So you pull in somewhere you like and think, I would stay 2 months here, or I don't really like this, we'll just move on.
Yeah.
So it is just that.
But the
It's
only
like
problem
free
with that
travelling,
is like you do need that license. Whereas I think that's what the kind of misconception is that people think, if you want to rent out or charter a yacht, you have to have experience with sailing. Whereas like Seagull doesn't have
No,
that.
you only need one person.
Yeah, you just need
You need
one person. Yeah.
And then Loz could probably take a group of people who've sailed 2 or 3 times around the Greek islands for a week, and it just wouldn't be a problem.
But
You
there's an
need one
important point on
experience.
that though. Although that's the sailing side of it, my first trip chartering was with a friend of ours who had chartered in the Greek islands, particularly the South Ionian, out of Levkos. And I think that having somebody who has been there before is great, because say this is a brilliant place for lunch, and the dinner here, we must go to this restaurant. We went there last year. So although you can have as much sailing experience as you like, there's always a benefit if you know somebody that's been there before. Going the first time with them definitely adds to the experience.
That's a perfect example, because our captain arranged all of our dinners. Because captains, the other thing you have to get used to is the captains expect to come and dine with you.
Yeah.
So it's no big deal, but if you don't know before you go on a
Yeah.
charter, it's like, well, what's he doing following us around? Well,
Yeah.
actually, you're meant to feed it. Oh, are we? Yeah. So nobody actually tells you this stuff.
Yeah.
But our captain, he knew the best bars, the best restaurants, so you had a natural guide with you,
Yeah.
taking you to each destination. And a lot of these harbours are just tiny. So if you don't actually know where to go or where to book, you don't get the best food.
Yeah, exactly. You might end up going in a tourist trap and eating just like dead
Crap,
food.
yeah. So it is like going with a local. It's like a bit like going to Airbnb. If you get a good host who actually tell you about all the best restaurants locally, because they know it and they live there. So it's a little bit with. The benefit for me of hiring a boat is, or ship, whatever you want to call them, is you get a good host who actually tells you about all the best restaurants locally, because they know it and they live there. So it's a little bit with the benefit for me of hiring a boat is, or ship, whatever you want to call them, is you get a good host who actually tells you about all the best restaurants locally, because they know it and they live there. So it's a little bit with the benefit for me of hiring a boat is, or ship, whatever you want to call them, is you get a good host who actually tells you about all the best restaurants locally, because they know it and they live there. So it's a little bit with the benefit for me of hiring a boat is, or ship, whatever you want to call them, is you get a good host who actually tells you about all the best restaurants locally, because they know it and they live there. So it's a little bit with the benefit for me of hiring a boat is, or ship, whatever you want to call them, is you get a good host who actually tells you about all the best restaurants locally, because they know it and they live there. So it's a little bit with the benefit for me of hiring a boat is I don't have to do anything. I love the experience of sailing around. I don't like motorboats, etc. And I want to sit there and read my book. I don't want to. This lot always say, buy a boat, get a boat. Why would I do that? No interest whatsoever. I want to sit there, be balanced, and read my book.
Yeah, because it is a lot. Like, it is stressful. I mean, I've lived on a boat. It's not all just relaxation and fun and games. It is stressful sometimes, especially when you get in bad weather. And stuff like that, it can be a little bit stressful, but there's always pros and cons to everything, really, because like you said, you have your freedom, you have your privacy, like, but if you don't want the responsibilities of sailing and having it and like taking care of the yacht, then it's nice to have like a crewed or a skippered charter, because like you have that kind of just like, I just want to relax, do nothing.
You got caught out in a
In Flagrante.
well, yeah, I expect you did as well. But when you were on your charter with your girlfriend, there was just the pair of them on the boat.
Yeah, that's a full seat.
Yeah.
We had a 4-hour passage. And,
To Windward.
I did learn then that you ride up the waves and then slide down the other side.
So was it a bit of choppy weather then?
Choppy weather. It's like going up and down Mount Everest. No, it's fine. But
You don't get anything like what you'd get in the English Channel or the Atlantic or whatever. The cruising grounds for most yacht charters tend to be the best places to sail, obviously.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, when you're doing sailing like that, you can easily get to the nearest port. They're never far away. And if the weather looks really bad and there's a big storm coming through, just say, we'll just hang out on the port today and wait till it passes through.
Exactly, but you know, you learn all of that in sailing school anyway. It's like you're looking for the weather
You do,
in
but
advance.
actually, there's better than you do check the Met and you download your grip files and what have you, but that's not the real fun part of it. In the Greek islands, for example, most people moor up at the harbour's stern too, so there'll be a row of boats and there'll be lots of people on them. It's not like a marina back in England where there'll be 100 boats and maybe 1-2 people about there. So the first thing you're doing is you're having your beer after you're tied up and you're chatting to the people on the boat next door, and somewhere around there'll be seasonaires, those who are spending the whole season there, and they'll say, oh yeah, we're not going out tomorrow because of this, that or the other.
Oh yeah, so then you kind of are like speaking within each other.
Yeah, and you find that you're in a lovely harbour and you just take an extra day and you enjoy, maybe go for a walk up the hills, sit in a bar all day if you like. I think we've done that once or twice.
I mean, speaking of like meeting people, have you met any like long-term friends from chartering?
Oh yeah, I got married 5 times.
No, I've never met anybody that's become a long-term friend from chartering, but we charter with friends. Although saying that, when we were stuck in, I forget the name of that port in Greece, little harbour, lovely.
Oh
And
yeah, big one.
on the boat next door, there was a top influencer who was on his yacht and recording his. The boat was called Celeste, and I think his YouTube thing was Sailing Celeste, and his girlfriend, who was this stunning model. So we had to spend 2 or 3 days with those two. No pain, was it? No, they're very interesting. So you kind of make friends for the holiday.
Yeah, just short-term fun.
Yeah, we've never sort of carried it on.
You've got that commonality. If you're sailing on a holiday, you've always got one thing in common. And that's the sailing. So you've always got something to talk about.
Yeah.
You do, and when you do it, you can pick up.
I think you could go sailing for a week for probably, you get change out of 1,500 quid.
Per person,
Flights, the boat.
Yeah, but how many people on that boat?
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, it depends.
Depends on the size of the boat.
It depends on the size of the boat, but you just split the cost.
You got 6 people on a 40-footer.
Yeah.
3 couples on a 40-footer. Then you're definitely well in for shoulders of the season. So May and September, October. £1,500's fine. If you want to go, you know, take your family in the middle of the summer, then yeah, you're going to pay more. But that's the idea. You shop around, take your choices.
Is it more expensive to charter a skippered and crewed rather than a bareboat? Would you say?
I'd say probably it is, but is that an expense it's worth paying? Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Because again, coming back to it, I love sailing because I like sitting on my boat, reading the book, cruising the sunshine, visiting ports that I wouldn't get to otherwise, off the beaten track. And I can't do that, and I don't want to do that because I don't want to. They bore the shit out of me when they talk about all this sailing rubbish. Don't care. For me, it's a floating hotel, and it's a comfortable floating hotel that I could dive off the side. I can go with my kids, they enjoy it, I enjoy it. Don't want to do that boring putting
it's
ropes
basically
and
like your
rubbish.
accommodation costs, if we really think about it.
Yeah, but that's not mutually exclusive because if you go on a skippered yacht, you know, the captain would be delighted if you got good hands on, if you want to, you know, raise money, do a bit of trimming or a bit of help. They'd be absolutely delighted. So it's not, oh, you're just sitting there.
Yeah.
It's your choice, you know. So if you want to do that,
It's my choice to sit there and then tell the kids to go and help the captain. They love it. They love doing it.
well, that's why your children go away from you, not talk to you.
Probably true.
If you weren't paying for it, Steve, would your kids come on holiday with you?
Of course not. To be fair, wait, that's another good point, actually.
Okay.
What holidays will your teenage kids go with you? Skiing, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sailing, absolutely.
Yeah.
Beach holidays, sitting by the pool, not like John.
No, they want to go once they're over 16.
No. So there's got to be an adventure, and sailing's an adventure that you can get your teenage kids to come with you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very good point, actually. Because you haven't got long with them, because once they get past 15, 16, they don't want to go with you anyway, unless it's skiing or sailing.
Right.
What about like rules and regulations? Like, were you briefed when you went on the yacht?
Yeah, it's quite a lot of health and safety regulations, and you need to know what to do if any incidents affect. You need to know where the vests are, and you need to know that you can't do X, Y, and Z. So you have about an hour briefing, but it's not arduous. They just tell you the basics, etc., and then you just pick it up as you go along, really.
But when you're bareboating, isn't there kind of like, you know, like quite a long brief before?
No,
It depends on the charter company.
Have you experienced like a big briefing before?
Yeah, on flotilla holidays, you're still bareboat, but you're within a flotilla. So that's where the group of you, maybe 10 yachts, will go off together, and the itinerary is mainly set. There's a couple of days where you'll do your own thing, sort of on a week's holiday. But apart from that, it's day number one, we're going to go to here for the evening. Now the benefit of that is they'll know where there'll be space to walk the boat, particularly in high season. And before you take your boat, you get a briefing on land about where you're going and what you're doing. So it's part safety and part itinerary. And then when you take on the boat, when you get on board, the flotilla leader, and they normally have a leader and an engineer, they'll come along, they'll show you how to do things like start the engine. Every boat's different. How to use the navigation equipment, VHF, and simple things like how to open a Seagull, so that the water the engine needs, if you don't open that, your engine won't work. And so you get all that briefing, and they give you a basic safety briefing. It's very basic, things like the boom. I think as that can be swinging around when you're sailing downwind, it can be dangerous. If you got hit by the boom, you'd know about it. So they teach you about that. Winches, how not to stick your fingers in the wrong place. So the basics, and also your man overboard drill, the very basics. But you do that, anybody getting on any boat, whether it's chartering your own boat or going out with your friends, you'd still get a basic safety briefing. What to do if something goes wrong, and what not to do, so as you don't put yourself in a position of danger.
Do you listen to the safety briefing though?
It's a bit like getting on an aircraft.
The answer's no.
No.
No, in public, I'll never
Got your
say
earphones
no.
in, have you?
No, it would be irresponsible and you'll never publicly admit it. You may not pay as much attention as you probably should do. I admit to that only.
Okay. Well, it's important that you do listen to the safety briefs, people, because you never know. Anyways, I've got one last question for you today. If you're speaking to somebody that's looking to, charter a boat, what advice would you give them?
Depends on their experience. I mean, it really does. If they've got a little bit of experience, and my advice to them would be to go with it. If they've got a bare chance, you need at least one person who knows what they're doing.
Who knows what
Other
they're
than
doing?
that, it's fine.
Okay. Anything to add, guys, to that? What advice would you give?
I think you've just got to understand the pricing because it varies massively.
Yeah.
And you need to shop around and you need to understand the seasonality. But peak season, the price is twice as much as going to the shoulders. So go on the shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I think you've got to understand the difference between countries as well. So Spain is incredibly expensive. I've sailed out of Mallorca, I've sailed out of Ibiza. Very, very expensive. Go to Greece, it's about a third of the price.
Yeah.
And the experience is not a third.
Oh,
So therefore, you've got to look at what you do.
There's also the emerging places. Croatia now is unbelievable for sailing, and it's really come up. And again, you get a completely different set of prices. You get completely different experience. Say Greece or Spain, and a lot of my friends in the yacht club, they charter in the Caribbean. Well, of course, you've got a totally different water temperature there, totally different experience. So probably just do your research. There's plenty of cold, wet days in December when you're planning your summer holiday. Just get online and read the reviews, talk to people who have done it before, and then make up your own mind. Don't get stuck on one idea and go with it. Just open it up, look at everything, and talk to people and read what other people have written online.
The great thing about all that advice is that we have all that information to shop around at compareyachtcharters.com. Every single destination, we have information about everything that you need to know about the area, and as well you can compare all the prices on our website too. Well, cheers guys, that was great. Thanks for all your information.
Good time, it's another beer, please.
Yeah. Time for another beer.
Thank you.